Thanks for taking some time out for yourself. We're going to spend a few minutes and just put together a full tile through the Zentangle Inspired Art way. So relax, grab a few pens and pencils. This is just a simple pencil we'll use today. We'll use a thin felt tip marker or ballpoint pen. I'm going to use a little thicker, this is called a graphic pen, and some sort of art card or cardstock or a piece of watercolor paper. Just a small piece, and we will begin together. We're going to practice today a few fairly simple patterns, but fairly common. So we're just going to take a deep breath. We're going to put 4 dots, one in each corner, and think about something you're grateful for. And we'll join the 4 dots with 4 lines and make a border. And now the card is no longer blank. The benefit of working through in Zentangle Inspired Art is that there are decisions to be made, but they're so automatic that it actually becomes very relaxing. So where do we put the patterns? In order to make it really easy, I'm going to put a string in the middle, and a string is just a continuous line that will make a few spaces. And I'm just going to make 4 or 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 spaces in mine. You might have 3, you might have 5. We're going to start with the pattern Muka. Again, all the patterns are 2, 3, 4, or 5 steps that can be repetitive. So once you get to know the patterns, they become very automatic. So I'm just going to take one of my skinny spots here, and I'll start along a line, and I'm going to draw up around step 1, back is step 2. It forms a nice point there on the end. I'm going to go up on the other side of my shape, around, and back down again. And I'm just going to, because I have this kind of a shape, I'm just going to go up the sides and add more Muka as I go. I'll do the same on this side. Yours might look similar, it might look different because every shape is different. Every hand is different. So there's Muka. I'm going to turn the tile and find another spot, and I'm going to add the pattern Mirror. For this pattern, step 1 is a simple line down one side of your shape, and I'm going to make a thin bar to match that. And then I'll make the same thing on the other side of my shape. So if your shape is a square, you're going to have 2 bars on each side. If yours is a circle, it might kind of have a bar all the way around. And then mirror, step 3 has a wavy line down the middle. And then step 4 has diagonal lines that go the full length. And I'm going to start fairly wide at one end, and then I'm going to put them closer together as I get to the other end. Just a variation. Taking your time, one line at a time, anything can be accomplished. And it's much easier to turn your paper than it is to turn your neck. So always remember just to rotate it around, take your time, and if something you think, oh, it's a mistake, there actually are no mistakes in Zentangle. There are only creative opportunities. So just make it into a different line, something you might not have expected from before. And there I have Mir. The third shape I'm going to make, the third pattern I'm going to make is poke leaf. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to put poke leaf starting here. Poke leaf, step 1, has a stem, has a little fold in the leaf, and the leaf goes up and back again. Step 1 is the stem, 2 is the fold, 3 is the leaf, back down again. And each leaf comes out at a slightly different angle than another. And sometimes that stem is a little bit bent, and sometimes that leaf might go a little bit behind another leaf, or it might actually run into the fence there, our string, and so it can't really go any further. And so I'm just going to put some that might go behind and then it goes up, and I'm just going to keep going to fill in my space. And as I get to the top, some of the leaves will actually go out. And I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to actually have some of mine go over top of my string. Again, these are all little choices you make as you go along that really supports creativity and different ways of looking at things. And so I think I'm just going to make some that kind of fall over the edge here. And a couple more that may come out to the top. So there's poke leaf. Sometimes with poke leaf, we've got a lot of space inside these leaves. So either they can be colored in black, and that will give you some nice contrast, or they can have like little lines on the inside or little circles on the inside, just to add some dimension to that. So I'm just going to leave it as is for now, and I'm going to come back to it. And another pattern we'll do is Zentangle, and this has a few steps to it. Zentangle, there we go. Zentangle has a grid shape that underlies it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a grid, a fairly large one. So I'm going to draw some lines going one way in my shape here, and then I'm going to draw some lines going the other way. So I'm kind of making a grid as much as might appear in my shape. Step 2 is I'm going to put an X in each of those squares that I can see, and I guess in the smaller triangles I'll leave as is, and the bigger triangles I'll divide into 2. So there's step 2. Step 3 makes a beautiful kind of circles on the inside. I trace a line, go around a corner, trace a line around a corner. Oh, that's moving a lot there, so let's get it so that you can see it. I'm going to trace a line, round it, round the corner, trace the line. So basically what I'm doing is I'm tracing the lines, but I'm skipping the corners. And I'm just taking my time, and we'll see what will emerge. And a beautiful pattern is emerging. Some say it's a little bit like a flower, some say it's a little bit like an orange peel. And then I still have one last space. So I'm thinking I'm going to just add some more poke leaf. But this time I'm going to vary from that one and I'm going to make them a little bit larger. And you can choose one of the shapes here that you really liked, or you can add some more poke leaf as we go also. Oops, sorry. There we go. So they're just going to get bigger on this side than they were on the other side. And I'm just going to rotate my card. Goes in the same direction as the leaf I'm making, makes it a little bit easier. I think here I'm going to make some go outside of my little border too, just to make it just a little bit more creative, I think. And another one over here. I think I'm going to fill in a few spaces there. Some will go behind by just thinking that my pen goes behind there, appears and goes behind. Sometimes I don't know when it's finished. When it looks like it's finished, it's finished. So there's lots of things that we can do with something like this. We can add some contrast in the mirror with a thicker marker, and I'm just going to make a few rectangles along each of the bars. And you can do this with the same pen, it just takes a little bit longer with the thin pens. And I'm just going to I don't think I want the rectangles in the same places, so I'm just going to vary where they appear here. There's a mirror. And then here I'm going to just color in some of these middle shapes, kind of like the star that's here. And I see another one that's kind of over here. And there's a little bit of space here. Just a few spaces that I kind of see where it might look interesting colored in black a bit. For Muka, I'm going to just put some little black dots. Again, I'm just kind of adding some interesting information. I'm just going to make these dots go up the side there. And then I'm just going to close this card off by tracing over part of my border here that I did in pencil. Just to put a little bit more of a frame around it. And I'll come up through here. And then the last step is to find out what's top and bottom, turning it around. I think that this is going to be the bottom for me. I'm going to put my initials there, some sort of way you want your initials to look. And then the last step is just to appreciate the beautiful creativity and the calmness.